Hello, good evening and welcome to Business Live. Coming up in this bulletin, Controller and Accountant General denies overstating Ghana's debt stock by 139 billion cedis for last year, insisting the challenge was how the calculation was done, which was not wrong.
The figure, as we see in the financial statement, is the same as we have after the reconciliation, and they haven't impacted on the accounts of the state. There wasn't an overstatement, but just some few reconciliations that we have to do with the auditors.
But Chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee maintains a more coherent calculation is needed to reflect the exact and true debt stock of the country.
We would want you to do moving forward is collaborate more with the audit service, and also let your responses be timely.
Really, what does misreporting of a country's debt numbers mean for an economy? We shall be discussing that with an economist. Also in this bulletin, government partners Pakistani rice producers to boost local production of the staple.
Rice has become one of the most important staples in Ghana, with consumption rising sharply in recent years. While government is working diligently under the Feed Ghana program to increase local production.
We have details of these and more for you. Please stay on. Thanks so much for your time. I am Pius Kojobaka. And looking at our stories, the Controller and Accountant General, Kwesi Ije, has denied assertions that it overstated the country's debt stock position ending last year. The Auditor General, in its report for last year, revealed that the country's debt had been overstated by 139 billion cedis. But answering questions from the Public Accounts Committee today, Mr. J noted that the issue has been resolved, and of course, they are still they do stand by what they put out.
Madam Chair, what I would say is that we prepare whole of government accounts covering the local government, that's the MMDAs, central government, and then SOEs. So when it comes to the debt figure, we look at that for central government and guaranteed SOEs, and then the unguaranteed SOEs, and the summation of the two gives us a total for the whole of government accounts. When we did that, our figure for the whole of government accounts was 861.4 billion. And that of the central government and the guarantee SOEs came to 711.4 billion. And this is what we reported in the financial statement. But after the report was submitted to Parliament, we met with the auditors, and then we reconciled, we did some reconciliation, but we still came back with the same figure, the same 861 billion for whole of government, and then 711.4 billion for central government and guaranteed SOEs. So far as we are concerned, we reconcile. The figures haven't changed. The figure, as we see in the financial statement, is the same as we have after the reconciliation, and they haven't impacted on the accounts of the state. There wasn't an overstatement, but just some few reconciliations that we have to do with the auditors.
But Chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee, Abnasi Asari, maintains a more coherent calculation is needed to reflect the exact and true debt stock of the country.
Well, I can also say that I have the breakdown of the difference, and that pertains to the various SOEs. What we would want you to do moving forward is collaborate more with the audit service, and also let your responses be timely, because they are also bound by when to report when to submit these reports to Parliament. You know, there's a timeline. By end of June, they also have to report, get the reports ready and submit to Parliament, so that when you don't respond on a timely basis, it affects what they do. So I believe we have brought some clarity to this issue of the overstatement of public debts. The difference had to do with the unguaranteed state-owned enterprises, which we have the breakdown, and that did not materially affect the accounts of government. So I'd like to bring this to an end.
Meanwhile, Deputy Finance Minister Thomas Nyaku Ampem noted that he hopes this will bring finality to the issue.
Chairman, this is a very, very important conclusion that we need to bring to the attention of every Ghanaian. and everybody who has interest in Ghana. It was worrying for an impression to be created that the Controller and Accountant General had overstated Ghana's public debt. And so this conclusion, sending the message clear to everybody that there was no overstatement of the public debt and that the public debt, as stated, remains the same, is the most important conclusion that I think everybody must take out of this meeting.
What does misreporting of a country's debt number mean for an economy like Ghana? And we want to discuss that. Joining us via Zoom is economist Professor Patrick Isumeng. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us here on Business Life. And it looks like the debate about the country's debt stock won't end anytime soon, depending on where you stand. What actually is the problem? Why can't we have a coherent calculation of our debt numbers?
Good evening, and good evening to viewers, and thanks for having me. I don't think we should have been here in the first place. These are government agencies who are well informed about how to compute the country's debt position. And as it turned out to be, if they had collaborated the way they should have, I believe they're all under the same Ministry of Finance. So I think it was really a matter of how to treat unguaranteed debt of SOEs, which, by standard definition, it should be straightforward how to treat it. So I don't think this is something that was necessary. This kind of confusion was not necessary. I don't think there's any confusion or equivocation about where our debt position is. So I think that as the Deputy Finance Minister said, that really is where we should have been. More collaboration and engagement, and then we wouldn't have had that kind of confusion.
And you have investors watching proceedings of this nature. What signal or message do you think issues about incoherent debt numbers send to them?
Well, I think it doesn't look good, but I think it's clear when you listen to the initial release and the subsequent explanation. I think it's just misunderstanding on the part of one government agency. I don't think this has any bearing on the numbers that we report to the IMF. And to the extent that we are not going back to go and revise those numbers, I think its impact should be minimal once it's clearly explained that there was some confusion on the part of one government agency. But we shouldn't be here. These things should not be happening.
Will this have any implication on the economy largely, do you think?
I don't think so. I don't think there's been any material change in the position, in the size of our debt, or how we're going to service the debt. I think if it turned out that the numbers had to be revised down, then that would be very important. But as it is, the clarification has been given, and we are where we were. The debt situation really hasn't worsened or improved from what we previously knew. So ordinarily, I don't think they should have much impact going forward.
All right, so clearly this is a worrying story, like you mentioned, lack of coordination and, of course, collaboration, etc. Going forward, what advice would you give to, government institutions and, of course, quasi institutions for that matter under the Ministry of Finance, etc., so that we all have coherent, debt numbers?
I think it's important for credibility that you don't put out numbers and have to take them back. So these are very sensitive numbers. So I think before such a statement is put out, you just check with the other government agency to confirm and agree and seek clarification, because the optics are not good when two state agencies under the same ministry are saying different things. That doesn't look good. So I think it's obvious that going forward, the numbers should be checked and reconciled before they are put forward, because once you put these ones out and then it becomes a matter of public discussion that there's a mistake in the computation, it doesn't engender public confidence in the agency's concerned. So I think it's clear that in future, more collaboration and then confirmation and rechecking and confirming that everybody is satisfied that these are the numbers, including if you have to confirm with the BOG and others, because these are all state agencies that are involved in putting out our debt numbers, and it should never happen that they are saying different things.
Great.
So I think in future, that's really what has to happen. Before you put on the number, you confirm with the other agencies that also report these debt numbers.
Professor Sume, also appearing before the committee today was GRA. Guess what? About 9 institutions owe the state 47 million cedis in unpaid taxes despite making profits. How do we retrieve these numbers?
Well, I think I'm hearing this for the first time, but it's unbelievable to hear this. I think it's pretty straightforward. I mean, if you are making profit, and I don't know what if GRA is aware of this, why measures are not being taken to retrieve them, and then also if penalty should apply, they should apply. I think we have to give the signal that we're extremely serious about making sure people pay their commitment to the state.
And over the period, we've seen the unwillingness, so to speak, of GRA and other state institutions to retrieve monies owed to the state. This time around, what should change?
Well, I think it appears that there's some perception that, look, we all work for we all belong to the government. And therefore, maybe there's some laxity in ensuring that what's supposed to be done is done. So we just need to have a different kind of culture. I think the posture of the ECG some time back, where they were out there to collect their debt, including government agencies, and then they were shutting them out when they were not paying. I think that's the kind of thing that we should be doing. If you are a state agency mandated to collect, whether it is because it's due the state. There's no reason why, without any cause, it should be withheld. So I think the same thing should apply. And then I don't know to what extent the law allows people who are responsible for holding on such amounts to be brought to book. I think if that happens, then whoever is responsible, when the time is due, you report. Because if it is private individuals or companies, I'm sure they will come down heavily on them. The same thing should apply to other state agencies as well.
All right. Professor Isume, thank you so much for joining us here on Business Live. Grateful speaking to us on the program. Now, Chief Executive of Daylex Finance, Joe Jackson, has disclosed that a dollar shortage auction is helping businesses to plan and maintain the dollar value at a reasonable rate. He noted that the initiative has played a contributory role in stabilizing the cedi. He's been speaking to Joy Business.
Auction is fantastic. It's a really good thing. Means that we can hold the dollar values at rates that make sense and plan. As a business, listen, I'm all for it. So I would say, well done. It's been one of the reasons why the cedi has been relatively stable in this period. And if the central bank does believe, as some of us, a careful analysis of the value of the cedi seems.
This is still Business Live. We have more stories for you. Hello again, welcome back to Business Live. Government says it has begun steps to forge partnerships with key stakeholders to increase rice production in the country. Minister for Food and Agriculture, Eric Opoku, says the move is aimed at reducing reliance on imported products. More in this report.
It spends millions of dollars annually on rice imports to meet domestic demand, but government says that trend must change. Food and Agriculture Minister Eric Opoku said partnership with international stakeholders like Pakistani rice producers will help bridge the gap.
Rice has become one of the most important staples in Ghana, with consumption rising sharply in recent years. While government is working diligently under the Feed Ghana program to increase local production through irrigation expansion, improve seed distribution, mechanization, and farmer support, we acknowledge that current demand still outpaces supply. As such, quality imports continue to play an important role in maintaining food security and meeting consumer preferences. Pakistan is a world leader in rice production and exports, renowned for its premium basmati and long-grain parboiled rice. This expertise offers Ghana not only access to high-quality imports, but also an opportunity to learn from Pakistan's experience in research, mechanization, and value chain development.
Pakistan Rice Roadshow held in Accra brought together producers, exporters, and policymakers to explore investment opportunities in the rice value chain.
In a powerful show of local commitment to national food security, the Ofinso North municipality has emerged as a flagship hub for the government's Feed Ghana program. There is more in this report.
In the fertile heartlands of Ofinso North, a quiet upheaval is taking root. It is a national mission being driven by local action. The government's flagship Feed Ghana program is finding its strongest allies not just in farmers, but in entire communities and institutions, all united by a single goal: to feed the nation. Behind this push is the local municipal assembly, which has taken it upon itself to lead by example, mobilizing thousands and proving that food security starts right here at the local level. The program, according to the municipal chief executive, Caesar Ovosu-Achampon, aims at boosting production, creating jobs, and the strategy here is one of massive inclusion.
We did not inspire only farmers, we also inspired institutions as well. So as an assembly, we lead and the other institutions follow us. We are inspiring them so that they will not take agriculture as a punishment, but they will also use it as a means of employment.
But for this massive mobilization to yield a maximum harvest, the District Director for Agriculture points to a critical need, a crucial need for government's seed and input supply.
We currently will need seed maize. We need some inputs such as fertilizers to help us go into the production. And with the support of the government, and I know the Deputy Minister is here, requirements that we need for the program to be a success, I'm sure when he goes back with his team, we may have this input supplied to us for the program to become a success.
Perhaps the most striking symbol of this communal effort is the sight of state security agencies trading, albeit temporarily, their boots for farming goods.
As part of the Feed Ghana program, we were contacted by the Agric department here that is a program that the government would like to embark on. And as an institution, we found out it's a very good initiative. So we also decided to go into it to help grow plants for Mother Ghana. We would like to go into maize farming and also animal rearing.
Deputy Minister for Agriculture in charge of the Feed Ghana program, John Dumelo, is here today to assess this remarkable buy-in from the Assembly, local farmers, and even the security services. Here is his takeaway.
Amazing. I mean, coming here to see it and people being, not people, institutions being involved in farming, I think is a renewed hope that Ghana indeed is on the right course. We have to feed ourselves. At least when we do it and we do it well, I don't think we will import. And of course, it will create a lot of jobs for our people.
Also, have a quick to note that the Feed Ghana program isn't just one of the names given to policies. He says the program is here to stay and adds that government is committed to making Agric great again.
I know that President Mahama really wants to make Agric great again. All of us at the ministry want to make Agric again. So it's not about, another flagship program where we are giving names to policies.
From the policy halls of Accra to the fields of Ofinso North, a pact is being sealed. A pact between the government and its people, between institutions and the land. The seeds of self-sufficient future are being sown, one community at a time. Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Akumadan.
Now, Chief Executive of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Dr. Ken Ashigbe, has cautioned that the government's decision to reduce mining lease durations from 30 years to 15 years will affect the risk profile of mining projects in Ghana and could negatively influence investment decisions. He's been speaking to Joy Business.
The issues that you like, the reduction in the leases, for example, these amendments would impact the risk profile of mining projects in Ghana and would definitely affect negatively investment decisions. We should bear in mind whether Ghanaians are, at the helm of ownership, or you have foreigners also coming in, or it's a partnership. Definitely, mining requires a lot of capital, and as Fraser was mentioning, 1.7 billion. That's not money you are going to get all of that from Ghana. So even when you have your indigents as owners, you definitely need to get investment from outside. And so if you start reducing the tenure, it then makes your projects, the risk profile go up. It doesn't make it, attractive. And we should also bear in mind that, you have other investment destinations that are close to us.
The Joy Sports Invitational Tournament was not just about competing in several sports disciplines, but an opportunity for networking and bonding by staff of these corporate firms that participated. Well, the atmosphere did not stop some of the bosses and chief executives from talking about the economy and stability of the city. Here's more.
The Joy Sports Invitational Tournament brought together companies from several sectors of the economy. One can talk about the manufacturing, services, and agricultural sector. These firms competed in several sports disciplines, that is from football to tug of peace, table tennis, as well as track events. General Manager of YAG Deco Limited, Rebecca Che Entry, shared optimism about the economy, pointing to stable exchange rates as a key driver of sales growth.
Currently, the dollar is stable. Financially, at least, economically, is good. So sales are coming up compared to the previous years. It's better.
Chief Executive of Our Sales Services Limited, Nanaye Adomboachi Kanto, says stability in the city is helping businesses plan.
I think there's some form of stability because the space in which we are in, we do some of the things we use to deliver the service to our customers are imported, and the exchange rate has been stable, and there are some gains in that area. For us, strategically, we thought that the exchange rate was going to get worse, so we stocked up. As in, we bought a lot of hardware with very high. At a very high exchange rate, then it dropped. Whatever they are doing is, if they continue, is better for the cities to be strong, for us to be able to plan. I think the thing right now is that somehow one can plan. You can plan, you can strategize. Your budget doesn't go out of date.
Chief Executive of Outreach Care Solutions, Aaron Odum, noted that the city's strength is giving firms confidence to expand.
Gradually, we can see some improvement. The city gaining strength and all of that is gradually making things stable. So it's given corporate organizations the ability to be able to scale up and then also strengthen their ties in Ghana.
And that's our package for today. I am Pius Kojo Baka. Let's connect at 8 p.m. with Prime Business.